Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to PPTV. And it's your boy, the Black Mamba. It's early morning, September 22nd, episode number 13. And I haven't been too long. Finished watching the snooze fest with San Francisco 49ers and the New York Giants. If you guys listened to my earlier video this week, you had 3 bangers, all 3 hit. So wanted to come back to you with this weekend's slate in week 3 and give you my leans, my honorable mentions, and my picks of the week. Before we get right into it, I want to give 3 games that I would definitely stay away from this week. First game is the Buffalo Bills versus the Washington Commandos. There's going to be bad weather in that area this weekend. So, with those type of games, you never know what can happen, especially with a team of the Buffalo Bills caliber where they're high-power offense. Weather's going to play a big part in their game plan. So, with that said, I would stay away from that game. Another game that I would stay away from because of bad weather is the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. There's also going to be bad weather, real bad weather in that game. So I would stay away from that game as well. Even though Baltimore looks they look really good last weekend. I think we have some other games out here that has value. And the third game that I would stay away from is the LA Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals. Partly because the Cincinnati Bengals, they have just kind of been off for their game. And I do fully expect them to turn things around this season. I just don't know when, just based on what I've been seeing. And the Rams, they've looked really good this year. So this is one of those games that kind of has me a little confused. So I would stay away from that game as well. I think right now the current line is Cincinnati is favored by 3. But also the X factor is you don't know if Joe Burrow is going to play in that game. So that's a stay away game for me. So let's jump right into my leans for the week. I have a couple of leans for you guys. The first lean I have is the Seattle Seahawks. They're giving up 6 against the Carolina Panthers. And so far this year, the Panthers, they kind of stink, putting it slightly. They lost their cornerback Joe Horn in week 1. On Monday night, they lost Shaq Thompson. Those are 2 stable parts of their defense. I thought the defense was going to be really good this year. And with losing those 2 guys, and as bad as the offense has looked, Bryce he's looking like a deer in headlights so far this year. Even though he may not play, it may be, and I think Andy Dalton is going to be the starter if Bryce doesn't play, which is looking like more than likely he's not. Even with Andy Dalton out there, he's a veteran quarterback, but he's immobile. So I like the Seattle Seahawks to cover the 6. They're playing a short week. Carolina's playing a short week, and they're traveling to the West Coast. So Seattle -6. That was my lean, and these are my honorable mentions. And as I stated earlier, there's some bad weather that will be happening this weekend, and 3 games are going to be affected. The third game that will be affected will be the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. I like the under in that game, even though there's going to be a tropical cyclone. New England, they haven't looked good running the ball, especially the last game. I fully expected them to take advantage of Miami Dolphins last weekend and just be able to run all over the yard, but they were not able to do it. I fully expect for this to be a defensive game between the 2. Both teams have looked really good on defense, so I expect this to be a defensive battle, especially with the weather. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of trickery or any kind of big plays as far as the coaching plans are concerned. So I found a pretty cool stat that affects this game as well. Since 2020, 8 games when the total was 38 or less and the road team was favored, the under is 7-1. So that's a pretty good trend to ride. That is why I like the under in this, under 36.5. My honorable mention number 1 is the Green Bay Packers, favored by 1 over the New Orleans Saints. The Saints, they're 2-0, but they could have lost to the Titans in the first game of the year. The Titans had every chance to beat them. And this week, on Monday night, they had a cupcake game with the Carolina Panthers. They don't have their first and second string running backs as of now. And the Packers secondary is pretty good. So with that being said, I think this will be their first tough match of the year. And I like the Packers to defend their home stadium. So honorable mention number 1 is the Green Bay Packers. All right, now let's jump right into the picks of the week. The Black Mamba venomous pick number 4 of the week is I like the Kansas City and the Chicago under. Right now that total is 48, and the Chiefs, they had a good defensive performance last week. So far this year, they've only allowed 2 offensive touchdowns against 2 pretty good teams. And last week, the Bears just managed 236 yards against the Bucs. In addition to that, Kansas City offense hasn't quite got going yet, which is why I like the under in this game. And the Black Mamba number 3 pick of the week is, we got to keep riding this trend, guys. The Tennessee Titans getting 3 against the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns, they just lost their best offensive player in Nick Chubb this week. So now the question is, can Deshaun Watson carry the team? And right now, the answer is a resounding no. I mean, last week he cost them the game. He had 2 face mask penalties. He threw an interception, which you kind of can't blame him, or you could if the throw wasn't where it was supposed to be, in addition to having a fumble. So he single-handedly wrecked his team and gave them the L. My Pittsburgh Steelers gave him the most valuable player of the game last week. So you got another thing with Tennessee is with Mike Vrabel, he's 26-17 as an underdog. So we got to keep riding this trend, guys. I don't see it stopping this week. I know Tennessee will be able to hang in the game and make it ugly. They may even be able to win this game. With that said, Black Mamba picks Tennessee for the number 3 pick. My number 2 pick is the Miami Dolphins, and they're giving 6.5 against the Denver Broncos. Coming into the year, I thought the Broncos defense was going to be a lot better than they are. And at best, they've only been mediocre. They let I can't even say a half-decent Washington offense move the ball up and down the field against them in the second half after they had an 18-point lead. And then in the first game of the year, Vegas offense moved the ball is pretty good as well. So the question here is, can they get in a track meet with the Miami Dolphins? And based on what I've seen the first 2 weeks of the year, that answer is no. Because Miami has speed all over the field, and Tua is getting rid of the ball in lightning speed. And they're going to be able to put points on the board. They should be able to, they'll be able to put 30 points on the board. The question is, can Denver keep up? And I don't think Russell Wilson right now, I don't think he can do that. So with that said, Miami Dolphins -6.5. And my Black Mamba venomous pick of the week is the Jacksonville Jaguars -7.5 against the Houston Texans. This line has actually went down. When I first started looking at it, I think it was 8.5. I don't quite know why the line is going down. The only thing that I can think of is Houston has had Jacksonville's number over the years, and I think there have been several instances where they beat them straight up. But Houston, this may be fool's gold. They did pretty good the first 2 games of the year, but if you look closely at their performance, everything they've done or that C.J. Stroud has done has been in garbage time. When they were down big, they had to come back. And not to mention, Houston is down 2 corners this week, 2 cornerbacks in their secondary, in Derek Stingley and Tavir Thomas. And Jacksonville's offense they're pretty good. They're pretty solid offense. I think we're getting value with this pick. So with that said, the Jacksonville Jaguars is my most venomous pick of the week. And guys, that's all I have today. I hope that you guys have found value in these picks that I've given, the information I've given behind these picks. If you saw this as good, valuable information, do me a favor and spike that like, comment, and subscribe. And it's your boy, the Black Mamba, out.